When night falls and households quiet, Amish grandmothers pull granddaughters close and whisper lessons never spoken in daylight. These aren't cheerful bedtime stories, but raw truths about womanhood, survival, and sacrifice. 10 whispered lessons reveal what Amish women must know, but rarely discuss openly. The first year of marriage. In the dim lamplight, a 16-year-old granddaughter who will marry in 3 months sits nervously on the bed. The grandmother takes her hand and speaks low. I need to tell you things your mother can't say, things you must know before your wedding night. The first year of marriage will break you, the grandmother whispers. Your wedding night will not be what you imagine. It will hurt badly. This is what marriage means for women. She explains the physical realities that modest upbringing has left completely mysterious. It gets easier, but not for many months. Maybe a year. Your body will adjust. But that first year, you'll wonder why no one warned you. I'm warning you now. Expect it to be hard. This is normal. You're not failing. This conversation happens in whispers because it challenges the narrative that marriage is purely joyful blessing. Never let them see you cry. Learn this now and never forget, the grandmother whispers urgently. Never let them see you cry. Not your husband, not your children, and especially not other women in the community. Crying is private. It happens in the bathroom before dawn, in the garden, in bed after everyone sleeps, but never where anyone can see. The grandmother explains that tears are interpreted as weakness, as inability to accept God's will. The community watches constantly. If they see tears, they'll judge you. Your husband will feel accused, so you must learn to cry in private or not at all. She teaches the techniques, how to excuse yourself when tears threaten, how to take deep breaths and bite your cheek until the moment passes. Focus on your hands, watch them work. The feeling will pass if you don't feed it attention. The lesson isn't about strength, but about social survival. Visible suffering suggests spiritual failure and brings shame. Survive childbirth alone. The grandmother's voice drops even lower. When your time comes, you'll likely be alone or nearly so. Maybe your mother will come, maybe a neighbor woman, but no doctor unless something goes terribly wrong. You must know what to expect so you don't panic. She describes labor in unflinching detail. The hours of increasing pain, the overwhelming urge to push, the burning, tearing sensation of birth. You'll think you're dying. Every woman thinks she's dying the first time. You're not dying. This is normal. The grandmother shares practical instructions, how to breathe through contractions, when to bear down, how to position yourself if no one is there, what the baby will look like, not pretty and pink, but blue and covered in white film and blood. She also whispers the warnings, signs that something is going wrong. If you see these signs, you must get help immediately. Pride cannot matter. Some babies don't live. The grandmother's eyes fill with tears. Some babies don't live, she whispers. You must know this now, so you understand it's not your fault if it happens to you. She explains the terrible statistics that no one discusses publicly. I lost 3 babies before they were named. Your mother lost 2. Almost every woman in this community has buried at least one child. The community will expect you to accept it as God's will within days. But here's what I'm telling you in private. It's not your fault. Sometimes babies just die. God's will is what we say publicly, but privately, you're allowed to grieve. The practical advice follows. If you lose a baby, let yourself mourn privately. Cry when you're alone. I named mine privately Samuel, Ruth, and Eli. No one knows, but I know. This whispered lesson acknowledges a grief that public Amish life cannot accommodate. Your body will never be the same. Your body will never be the same after children, the grandmother whispers. No one tells you this before marriage. Your body changes permanently, and you must accept those changes. She speaks bluntly about physical damage. Stretch marks will cover your belly and breasts. You'll likely develop varicose veins. You might leak urine when you cough or sneeze. Many women do after multiple births. Your body will hurt in ways it didn't before. The grandmother lifts her skirt slightly, showing ropey varicose veins. These came from carrying all of you. My legs hurt every day now. But this is normal. This is the cost of motherhood that no one discusses. She touches on the psychological impact. You'll grieve for your young body. You'll miss that body, even though wanting it back feels like vanity. You're allowed to grieve what you've lost, even as you accept it's gone. Sometimes you'll hate your husband. The grandmother glances toward the door. Sometimes you'll hate your husband. She whispers, not just be annoyed. Hate. The feeling will be so strong you'll frighten yourself. This is normal. Every married woman feels this sometimes. She describes the specific triggers. You'll hate him when you're exhausted and he demands more. You'll hate him when he makes decisions without asking you. You'll hate him when he doesn't see how hard you're working. The hatred will feel overwhelming. I've hated your grandfather more times than I can count, but I never told him. I took those feelings to prayer and waited for them to pass. They always passed eventually. She teaches management strategies. When the hatred rises, bite your tongue until you can speak calmly. This lesson contradicts the public narrative about marriage but prevents despair. This is how you prevent another pregnancy. The grandmother's voice drops to barely audible. What I'm about to tell you can never be repeated. This is knowledge passed from grandmother to granddaughter only. She explains the moral complexity. Children are blessings from God, but endless pregnancy destroys women. I've seen women who died in childbirth with their 8th or 10th baby. God gave you a mind to use, and sometimes using it means spacing your babies so you can survive. The grandmother shares traditional knowledge about fertility control. She teaches how to track cycles, watching for signs of fertile days. She describes herbal teas that regulate cycles. Certain herbs taken at certain times can help your body rest between babies. Using these methods feels like thwarting God's plan, but I'm telling you they exist because sometimes survival requires it. Your husband might not approve. The bishop must never know. This knowledge must stay completely hidden. Your daughter will face the same life. Tears slide down the grandmother's face. When you have daughters, you'll face a heartbreak I can't fully prepare you for. You'll raise them knowing they'll endure everything you've endured, and you won't be able to offer them any other option. She describes the complex emotions. You'll love them fiercely and want to protect them, but you'll also have to prepare them for the life they must live. You'll teach them to submit when you wish you could teach them to demand. The hardest moment comes when you realize your daughter is you, 25 years ago. Same limited choices, same predetermined path. You'll want desperately to give her a different life, and you'll be completely powerless. She offers what comfort she can. Your strength becomes their model. The secret wisdom you received from me, you'll pass to them. This is not nothing. This is everything you can do. This is how I've endured for 50 years. The grandmother straightens her shoulders, moving from difficult truths to survival strategies. You've heard all the hard things. Now, I'll tell you how I've survived 50 years of this life without losing my faith or my mind. These are the strategies that kept me going when I thought I couldn't continue. She shares her mental techniques. I learned to think only about today, never about the decades ahead. The weight of imagining 30 more years of this life would crush me. But I can survive today, just today. Tomorrow I'll wake up and survive that day too. One day at a time makes the unbearable become bearable. The grandmother describes finding joy in small moments. I learned to notice beautiful things. The way morning light hits the garden, the softness of a baby's hand, the satisfaction of bread rising, the feeling of clean sheets. These tiny moments of beauty sustained me when larger life felt overwhelming. I collected them deliberately, focusing on them, holding them as evidence that life contains good even in hardship. She speaks of her spiritual practices. I talk to God constantly, not just in formal prayer, but throughout the day. Help me get through this task. Give me patience for this child. Strengthen me for this duty. God becomes constant companion, and that companionship makes loneliness bearable. I also have favorite scripture verses I return to repeatedly. They're worn smooth in my mind from use, like stones rubbed in a pocket. The grandmother talks about female friendships. The other women in the community understand in ways no one else can. We don't talk about our struggles openly that would violate the rules about acceptance and submission. But in brief moments, we exchange looks. We offer help without being asked. We cover for each other. This silent sisterhood holds us all up. We're all surviving the same life, and knowing others understand makes it less isolating. She admits what she would do differently. If I could go back, I would worry less about community judgment and focus more on my own peace. I spent too much energy trying to appear perfect, to never show struggle. That exhausted me unnecessarily. Now I know that everyone struggles, and pretending otherwise helps no one. I would also speak up more about things that truly hurt me. I mistook silence for strength. But sometimes speaking is stronger. This lesson offers the granddaughter hope. The grandmother has survived. She has found strategies that work. She has maintained faith through decades of difficulty. The life ahead is survivable because the grandmother is living proof. The strategies she shares are practical wisdom tested by time, more valuable than any theoretical advice. The granddaughter learns that surviving doesn't mean never struggling, never doubting, never feeling overwhelmed. It means finding ways to continue despite all those things. When I'm gone, remember these things. The grandmother takes both of her granddaughter's hands for this final lesson, speaking with the urgency of limited time. I'm old now. I won't be here much longer to guide you. When I'm gone, I need you to remember the most important things I've taught you. Her voice intensifies. First, remember that you are stronger than you think. Every woman believes she can't survive this life until she does. You will survive. Thousands of women before you have endured, and so will you. When you feel weakest, remember me. Remember that I survived 50 years of what you're beginning. If I could do it, so can you. The grandmother speaks of continued connection. Death doesn't end our relationship. I'll be watching from heaven, praying for you still. When you face difficult moments, talk to me like I'm still here. Tell me your struggles. Ask me for strength. I believe God allows those in heaven to intercede for those still living. I'll be interceding for you. She gives instructions about passing down wisdom. When you're my age and your granddaughter sits where you're sitting now, you'll whisper these same lessons. Some of what I've told you must remain whispered. Not everything should be spoken openly, but the wisdom that saves lives, the warnings that prevent disasters, the truth that makes hardship survivable, these you must pass down. This is how we survive across generations. Each grandmother preparing the next. The grandmother's tone becomes urgent. Watch for warning signs in yourself and other women. Depression that won't lift. Despair that makes death seem appealing. Thoughts of harming yourself or abandoning your family. These are signs that you need help, even when asking for help feels like failure. Talk to the herb woman. Talk to the midwife. Talk to me while I'm still here, or to God after I'm gone. Promise me you won't suffer alone to the point of danger. Her final words carry blessing and permission. She places her hands on her granddaughter's head and prays quietly. Then she whispers, "Within the life you must live, you have more freedom than you might think. You can choose how you respond to hardship. You can choose where you find joy. You can choose what kind of mother you'll be. The structure is fixed, but within that structure, you have agency. Trust yourself, trust God, and know that I love you enough to tell you the hard truths others won't say." The granddaughter asks through tears, "Will I be happy?" The grandmother pauses, choosing her words carefully. Happy might not be the right word. Content, sometimes. Satisfied with today while not thinking too far ahead, aware of blessings even in hardship, you'll have moments of happiness with your children, in your work, in small beauties. Whether that's enough depends on how you choose to see your life. I've found it enough.